Hey guys, what's good? Good morning. Good morning. Excited to have you guys on today. Definitely plan on having a watch party. Share this feed. It is going to be a good one today. Good morning. Good morning. What's good, everybody? I hope you guys had a great Valentine's. Hope you guys had a good Valentine's. I did. It was good. It was good. It was good. Okay. So, hey. Good morning. Hey, what's up, Nana? So excited to see you. Hey, Trey. Hey, Angela. What's good, Zelina? Mercedes. So good to have you guys on. Definitely share this feed. It's going to be some really good information today. I'm excited about today's topic. I'm also excited about today's guest. And while I'm mentioning guests, I want to invite one more person on here. Let me send this link out. Thank you guys for jumping on. Definitely got some great information today. And yeah, it's going to be good. Hi, L'Oreal. What's up? Damon, where you been? Seems like I hadn't talked to you forever. Are you with us? What's going on? What's going on? Teresa, what's good, girl? Good morning. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with prayer. Hi, Sharon. Hey, Elizabeth. Okay, so Father, we just thank you, Lord, this morning. This is the day that you've made, God, and we just rejoice. We're glad in it. We thank you, Holy Spirit, for calling us. Thank you for choosing us. Thank you for helping us. Thank you for strengthening us. God, I just thank you, Lord, that you have us in the palm of your hand, that our footsteps are being ordered by the Lord, and that you're teaching us how to profit. And God, I thank you, according to your word in Daniel, the Bible said that he was quick to understand, quick to comprehend. I thank you for the spirit of comprehension, the spirit of understanding, agility, adaptability, the ability to move quickly and easily, that we hear the word and then we act on the word, that we're executors, we're implementers. We bind all spirits of procrastination right now. We're alert, we're astute, and we're attentive to what the Spirit of the Lord is saying. God, I thank you now that we're in the first inning of the largest wealth transfer that the world has ever seen. And God, I just thank you now for helping us to bring all these parts and all these pieces together quickly and easily in Jesus' name. Amen. And I just got something while I was praying, so I wanted to write it down. Ha! All right, guys. So you definitely probably want to take some notes today. I think that's going to really help you. Again, I hope you guys had a really great Valentine's. Mine was really good. Now, if y'all saw, follow me on Instagram or Facebook. If you don't, make sure you start following me. I'm telling you, it was the rapping for me. It was the rapping for me. It's all about the rapping. It's like, you know, I told my husband, I said, baby, the gifts are cool, but when you like package that thing right, oh man, my full attention. It was just the opening of the gift. It didn't matter. It could have been anything. It could have been some house shoes. And I'd have been like, oh my gosh, because he took the time to, now, you know, he didn't wrap that himself, but that's okay. The fact that he took the thought to wrap it. So I told him, Gino, right, it was all about the wrapping. Like, let's be clear. So guys, clues, probably most girls, I mean, some girls may feel different, but I told him, I was like, we're not doing the roses. He gets me flowers all the time. So I was like, that wasn't really like Valentine's. I'm like, no. And so you have to talk to your man about these things, because otherwise he don't know. And he just be like, she all right. She got everything. Bruh, no. It's the thought, right? So anyway, let's jump on into this really great conversation tonight, guys, or today, or whatever time you might be watching this. So the whole world is changing. The whole world is changing, and it's changing fast, L'Oreal. And so as I'm learning these things and hearing these things, I want to make sure, Gino, that we, our community, and particularly, and I love everybody, let me say this right now, but in particularly the church, and in particularly African-American people of color, I got to make sure that we know what's going on, because if we don't, We can miss the whole thing. We can be believing for something that we didn't get the strategy for it, right? And then we don't implement the strategy and we end up missing all these waves that are happening right now. You know, there's a scripture that talks about that God teaches us how to prosper, and that is exactly what he does. And so I have some guests on today that I'm excited to bring to the stage. But before we do that, I want to bring up a couple things that are out here that I think are pretty important for you guys to see. You know, my whole thing is I want people to see social proof, because sometimes people need social proof to even see that this is valid or credible, and this is why we need to be talking about it. And so I'm going to share with you this really quick video, and then after that, I'm going to come back and give a little bit of interpretation of what that means and why I think the church needs to be moving pretty aggressively into this space. So there's a brother by the name of Michael Saylor. He's all in the headlines right now. He's going crazy because he was really, you know, he did it himself. He moved a lot of his capital into into Bitcoin, but then he also had a big meeting with S&P 500 companies. So let me
appreciating for tomorrow.
Wait a minute.
The power of real estate investing is now in the palm of your hand.
Hold on, guys. I'm trying to pull this up so you guys can see this.
Join the community of over 150,000 investors who are building a better portfolio with Fundrise today.
All right. Bet. Here we go.
That face that is usually covered by her phone has finally made an appearance.
Joining us now to discuss is MicroStrategy CEO Michael Saylor. Michael, great to have you back on. And let's just get right to that news of the day. Did you actually talk with Elon Musk offline and share your playbook from, as you put it, one rocket scientist to another?
You know, there are business rules regarding how public company officers are allowed to communicate to the public. And, you know, so I'm constrained in what I can say, but
that's not
you know what we said on Twitter, and you know what I've been saying all along, which is it's a great idea.
All right, that's not a no. It's not a yes either. So between this move, or I guess because of this move with Tesla today, I'd imagine you're feeling pretty vindicated in your strategy, and really what I think the vote of confidence of Musk buying into Bitcoin kind of implies here. I wonder, though, how you would respond to critics who would say that given the volatility of Bitcoin, we just touched on that, the risks associated with it as an asset class, that you are not only putting the company at risk, but shareholders' investments at risk. How would you respond?
Well, first of all, they were very measured in this. They have plenty of excess liquidity in US dollars. And so I don't think there's any criticism of what they've done. Companies that are converting their dollars into Bitcoin are taking a non-performing asset and they're turning it into the best performing asset. Bitcoin's been appreciating at something like 230% year after year after year for a decade. And so this is
okay. So I wanted to stop that right there. He said they're turning their capital into a best performing asset, right? So now this is what I need you to understand, that the way that the devaluation of the dollar is happening, if a person had $100,000, and let's just say you got $100,000 right now in your retirement and your savings are invested in the stock market, because the value of the dollar is devaluing so, because nothing's backed by it. Most of you guys understand that. When this stimulus check gets printed, I think it's $1 billion that President Biden has approved for people, which I understand why he's doing that, but that's going to drive the value of the dollar down. This is what I want you to understand. The dollar, they can just keep printing money, which unfortunately causes serious devaluation or deflation. This is the other thing. Bitcoin, remember, there are only so many. So there's only 21 million, okay? So once those Bitcoin are gone, they're gone. Now, would you still be able to get your hands on it? Yeah, because they'll be in circulation, because people are using Bitcoin to buy goods, products, services, houses, cars, groceries, coffee, whatever, right? But you would have missed, you don't want to just use it from a purchasing goods thing right now. Right now, we're in the first phase of wealth development, which is accumulation. So right now, it's critical that everybody is buying and holding. Nobody should be liquidating any crypto, and especially if it's Bitcoin, Ethereum, or Ripple. That's me, right? Now you can ultimately do whatever you want. You're the owner of it. But I wanted you guys to hear that. He said they turned it into a best performing asset. And that is important. Okay, so probably going to go back just a little bit. Pay attention to the words, guys. Tell the kids you need a minute.
And they're turning it into the best performing asset. Bitcoin's been appreciating at something like 230% year after year after year for a decade. And so this is part of the digital transformation. They're taking an analog monetary asset and converting it into a digital asset. And ultimately, over the long term, that's going to be good for the business.
Yeah, I mean, I get that Bitcoin has appreciated pretty dramatically, especially in the last couple of months, but it has been extremely volatile as well. So how do you yourself think about that, and how do you discuss that with other companies that are potentially looking to get involved and convert their cash to Bitcoin?
Well,
okay. What is he telling other companies? The church is an organization. It is a business. Okay, so listen.
Well, if you take the long view over the decade, you're going to have either a stable loss of 75% of your shareholder value if you hold the money in cash.
If you hold the money in cash, I just told you guys that. If you hold the money in cash, you're going to have a 75% loss.
Or you're going to have a volatile appreciation that may very well be doubling every 6 months. And so I'd rather have a volatile appreciation at 200% a year than a stable depreciation at the rate of 15 to 20% a year.
This was interesting to me. This was in the Tesla filing today. As intangible assets without centralized issuers or governing bodies, digital assets have been and may in the future be subject to security breaches, cyber attacks, or other malicious activities. And it goes on from there. How are you keeping your Bitcoin safe?
Well, I think there are institutional grade custodians right now that have worked out those issues, and corporations are doing all their purchasing, and normally they're doing their custodying with those institutional grade custodians. This, the same way that you would trust a custodian for other types of assets that you would hold on the balance sheet.
Currency or commodity? And I ask because as we see officials considering the possibility of more regulation to the asset class, how it's defined is going to have implications.
Bitcoin's not a currency. It's digital gold. It's a store of value. And it's taking the place of gold because people realize that you can move a block of Bitcoin 1 million times faster, and you can program that Bitcoin on a computer to run 1 million times an hour. So it's the basis of the 21st century cyber economy. It's not going to replace the dollar. It's not going to replace the Visa or the PayPal or the MasterCard payment rails. It's simply a stable store of value to build a financial framework upon.
Yeah, I certainly get that. And I know you laid this out in that conference last week as well with some of your conversations, the hedge against inflation, depreciation of the dollar, the fact that Bitcoin has appreciated relative to that fiat and others in recent times, and what that means in terms of spending power and that store of value for companies such as yours. I am curious whether and if you are having conversations with other CEOs at other companies. I mean, RBC today just put out a note saying that Apple could be the next likely contender to buy Bitcoin.
I think, first of all, I was surprised. We had more than 7,000 enterprises in attendance last week. And those discussions have gone viral on YouTube, 250,000 or more views of just those sessions in the past few days. I've spoken to lots and lots of CEOs, and I've spoken to lots of other investors and enterprises, and I think the word is spreading pretty rapidly. With Tesla's move, I think they've de-risked this for a corporate treasury. I think you're going to see more CFOs, more treasurers look very hard at this and make decisions.
Yeah, and certainly I know one of those conversations last week was with Ross Stevens at Stone Ridge about all the institutional money that's getting in as well. So I have a feeling we're going to be talking about this even more in the weeks and months and years to come. Michael Saylor, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
All right.
Ashley Home
All
Store's
right.
President's Day Mattress
I think
Marathon is
that
going on
was-
now.
So I think that was pretty plain. Okay. And I'll tell you guys, there are a lot of moves that are being made right now. And so what we've got to do, like, think about it like this. Have you ever had an opportunity, Bitcoin, the long-term bull case, which we're not going to listen to all of this, but I do want to listen to a little bit of this.
I'm Keith McCullough, and welcome back to another Real Conversation. I'm quite looking forward to this one with Michael Saylor. Michael, thank you for taking the time to walk through your thoughts on Bitcoin in particular, economics, fully loaded, asset allocation. I think we got a lot to cover.
Thanks for having me, Keith. Happy to be here.
Yeah, for those of you that don't know who Michael is, his bio, just is a rock star bio. He's made a lot of money, and now he's putting a lot of money into a certain thing that he obviously considers an asset class. It's an interesting journey you've been on, Michael, and it's something that I think people get pretty emotional about a lot of things these days. But when it comes to my job, I think a lot about asset allocation. I think a lot about the things that you've talked about, which is actually the volatility of the asset class. And that's what got my attention. That's why I wanted to have this discussion with you, because you were one of the first people to not only articulate it within a framework, but also talk about the volatility of the asset and maybe the flow into and out of the.
Okay, so this is what I want you to understand. What scares most people is volatility. But volatility, Michael, that's your friend, right? Because everything is about understanding when to enter the market and to exit the market. Think about it like this. When has there ever been a time in history where you had an opportunity to know? Now, by the way, Michael Saylor is a billionaire. Let's be very clear. And he met with tons of S&P 500 companies and made sense to them. And they all started doing what? Jumping into Bitcoin. Remember, Bitcoin, there's a limited amount that are out there. So we can't just, get lazy and say, oh, yeah, I'll get it at some point. No. This is I don't care if you buy $10 of Bitcoin a day, and understand that this space is very much, you guys share this feed and do watch parties, please. Because here's the reality. Michael Saylor's not going to call your church. He's not going to, hey, pastor, you love the Lord. Let me talk to you about the moves that I'm making with these other big $1 million company. No, you're not going to get a call from Michael Saylor. You're not going to get a call from Kramer. You're not going to get a call from Paul Tudor, but you are getting a call from Jewel Tanker, because I love the Lord and I want to see churches advance. And we cannot advance if we're still doing things in an antiquated way. So we have to be really open right now. All of us, students, I'm a student. Everybody put in the chat, I'm a student. Christopher Terry, our CEO, he tells me all the time, he said, Drew, I don't care how much money you make, stay stupid. We got to stay students so that we don't end up missing it and just watching it like, oh, that's interesting. No, it's more than interesting. It's a knock on the door saying, get in on the wealth transfer, Ramona. All right. We're going back to Michael. All right, dear.
The asset and the attributes. So that's where I wanted to start. I think I wanted to also go back and you like me. I'm obviously not as widely exposed to this as you, but you like me back in 2013. Just looking at a tweet, I look at people highlight all my tweets now. Anything I ever said about Bitcoin, which I've said a lot of things like this a long time ago, and I don't know if you could see that, but again, to be where you are today. back versus then in 2013, or any bloody tweet that I have going back to the beginning of Twitter. One would say that you'd probably be dogmatic if you maintain that view. But just for you to get from there to here, if you maybe want to start from a non-believer, I guess, to where you are today, I think that would be really helpful.
Yeah, I'd be happy.
Okay, real quick. Now notice 2013, he wasn't a believer. He didn't believe in Bitcoin. Sometimes we don't believe in things that we understand. And guys, the reason we have to stay a student in this space is because it's forever evolving. It's forever changing. Back to Michael.
Happy to. Look, Keith, if you roll the clock back a decade, I was always a big tech investor enthusiast. So I wrote The Mobile Wave back 2011. I published it 2012. And the theme of the mobile wave is that Apple, Facebook, Amazon, and Google are going to eat the world. And that's because all the things that we have in our life that are physical are dematerializing onto a software network. Apple ended up dematerializing all your mobile devices. Google ended up dematerializing every library and every piece of video. Facebook ended up dematerializing our social relationships. Amazon ended up dematerializing the storefront. So if you bought those, and I did, I bought a lot of Facebook and Apple and Amazon and Google 10 years ago. It's been a good run. And I think everybody today understands that. Mm-hmm. I think I would say that I did not understand Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a thing where you don't understand it until you do. And I think everybody that encounters it, their first reaction is, well, it's kind of a tool for gamblers and hackers and cyber criminals and anarchists and the like. And that was the prevailing narrative back then. And what I thought was, yeah, eventually this will get shut down, just like online gambling. And I'd seen what happened with trade sports and the online odds makers. And boy, I thought they were really cool, but I just noticed the regulators shut them down. So,
right.
So I said that when Bitcoin was $111, and then I ignored it when it went through $1,000, and we bought it at $1,111, $11,111, a lot of it. But what I'd say, Keith, is better late than never.
Yeah, big time.
A lot of people said, Warren Buffett missed Apple. Warren Buffett missed Apple for 8 of those 10 years.
Yeah.
And then he must have made more money on Apple stock in the last 20% of that run than he made on any investment in his entire life. And he probably made it without even noticing he made it. Because ultimately, the thing about technology is figure out the thing that's going to eat the world. If you're right, own it, hold it, and wait.
Well, that's how you became a billionaire. Like, just to put it on the table. I mean,
that was a word. Did you hear it? Figure out what's going to run the world. Eat it and own it. That was a word. Remember, because the devaluation of the dollar. So, I'm moving so aggressively that all extra, I would say, guys, my philosophy, I pay tithe, I pay offering, then I pay myself in Bitcoin every week, right? And so what's happening to my crypto portfolio? Woo! And what's happening? Our church. So I see this last week. Randy calls me and he goes, Jewel, did you see what happened with MicroStrategy? I was like, no, what's MicroStrategy, Randy? He said Michael Saylor owns it, and he's buying up Bitcoin, and he's teaching he's teaching S&P 500. And then we said, we got to teach churches to do this. This is important. This is huge. It's happening. So then we turned around and we bought a good amount for a Bitcoin and Ethereum for our church just last week, because as soon as I heard it, I moved. So the days of over analyzing certain things, guys, I look for the witness in my heart. When I get a witness, poof, I'm gone. And you know what? It's always led me to wealth. Thank you, Lord. So I want to bring on a couple people. That video is so doggone good. I think I'm playing just a tinge more. Then we're going to bring on a couple live guests. But this thing is good. This is good. This is good. And I want to tell you the educational platform that we are connected to. I think it is vital that everyone is on it because this space is ever evolving. Like you can't just capture, a time. Okay, I learned everything. No, it's forever changing and learning and moving. Think about how often you can upgrade your phone now, upgrade apps. And if you don't upgrade, then you end up, subjecting yourself to mental trauma when you do. Oh my gosh, I don't know how to use any of this. Oh, where's the tab? Where's the tab? Where's this? Oh, whoop. Well, that's what's happening with crypto. If you don't stay in the flow and learn a little bit, and it could just be a little bit every day. It doesn't have to be a lot. It could just be a little bit every day. Okay, so we're going to listen to a little bit more of Michael that I'm bringing on my guest. This is so doggone good. I hope this is clarifying stuff for you.
Your own company, you built it and you owned it and you held it. Right? There are a lot of different ways to do that. I mean, your ability to buy as much Bitcoin as you did was built on the same belief, right? I'm going to build something that people don't quite believe yet or understand, and I'm going to hold it.
Look, Keith, I think there's 3 ways to make money in this world. You can make something, you can trade something, you can own something. Okay, so I started when I was 24 years old making something, and I've spent 30 years of my life making business intelligence software. Let me tell you, it's really hard to make things, and you have to be the best in the world at that. And if you are, you know you are. So you can normally only do that in one place. After I made a modicum of money, then this question, do you trade it or do you own it? People that know how to trade stuff, I respect them. I just can't do it. I mean, you have to be dedicated and committed and understand it. And it's very complicated. So I'm not a good trader. I once tried to buy call options on Apple. And, I knew Apple was going to eat the world. I thought, these guys are going to have 1 billion people doing everything. I bought Apple stock and I made 10x, 20x my money, and that was good. But on the other hand, when I bought the call option, I bought 18-month leaps. And Keith, I timed it exactly wrong. And can you believe you could lose money buying call options in Apple in like 2014? And the lesson I learned was, if you believe in something, don't try to time the market. Just buy as much as you can and wait, because the market will disagree with you, maybe for a year, maybe for 2 years, maybe for 3 years, and they'll outrun your options. But I didn't think I was going to be wrong over a decade. I'll tell you one other funny story. I bought 500,000 shares of Facebook at $12 a share back, 2012. Okay, and I think it was an employee that sold it to me. Now, the biggest investment mistake I made of my entire life was selling that, any amount of it, at an obscene profit, like obscene profit. And I look back and I'm like, the stupidest thing I did is I should have bought more, but I should have never sold it. And Keith, if you go back to 2012, we could debate, should you buy Facebook stock at $12 or $13 a share, or $10 a share, or $15 a share? What does it matter? Like, it doesn't matter. And the truth of the matter is, if you had bought Google, Apple, Amazon, or Facebook at any point between 2010 and 2020 for 10 years, I think it's impossible to have lost money at any point for the decade. I mean, you would be hard pressed to find that point. And so your investment mistake would be, try to time the market on those things, because I can't figure it out. I mean, I've been wrong trying to time the market. On the other hand, it was pretty clear that Facebook was going to eat the world. I mean, they basically created a software network to pull all the social energy on the planet. And that takes us to Bitcoin, right? Why do I like Bitcoin today? Well, we're 10 years late on Facebook, Apple, Amazon, and Google, at the point that like 20-something people look at me and they tell me how great an investment. When my niece told me she was buying Apple stock in the year 2020, I was like, okay.
Ahead of the split.
Well, I'm not, they figured it out. After the split, she's buying, and after Warren Buffett bought it, after the octogenarian bought it, my niece is buying it after the lockdowns. I'm like, okay, I think I missed that boat. On the other hand, here's the thing I think about Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the first software network in the history of the world that can pull monetary energy. So these Bitcoiners have figured out something that is really a thing of beauty and extraordinary value. They're pulling pure monetary energy on a network, and once if I take $100 million and I put it into Bitcoin, it could sit there for a decade, like in a battery. It won't bleed out. You're not losing 2 to 4% a year. And I can put it in the palm of my hand, and I can move it around the planet for a few dollars in a few minutes. And we've never in the history of the world figured that out. And so it's very early on. I like monetary. I like software networks that are worth more than $100 billion, that are 50x bigger than their competitor, that are going to eat the world, that 99% of the world doesn't agree with me on. So in fact, I like the fact that people don't understand it, don't agree with it, or are afraid of it, because I couldn't afford to buy it if they all agreed with me. Yeah. And I believe we're at that inflection point for Bitcoin where it's like, it's big enough to be unstoppable, but it's still new enough that there are 10,000 billionaires or billion-dollar entities, and maybe 5 of them get it. Maybe 10 of them out of 10,000 get it. And so the catalysts are all to the upside. And most of these risks, they've been worked out over the last decade. You could make a list of 100 things that might go wrong. We've watched them all happen. They haven't killed it. And we're just sitting right at the cusp of something really fabulous here.
Woo! Woo! Wow. 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 That is some revelation. Did you hear, Brad? He said, I like the fact that everybody doesn't get it. I like that. Guys, we're at the first inning right now. So some of you might be saying, should I have gotten it, 5 years ago, 10 years ago? Of course, that would have been great. But we're at the first inning. So now's your time right now to jump in and just be willing to learn as you go. Learn as you go. Learn as you go. That traditional stuff, let me get all of the information. By the time you get all of the information about Bitcoin, which nobody has all the information about it, you will have missed the move. We're in a different time, guys. I know that's how your school grade teacher told you. Get all the information before you take the test. Not here. You want to become wealthy? This is enough right here to say, I need to be in it. Because if a billionaire is in it and he's had the ability to pay attention to wealth cycles and become wealthy, if Jewel Tankard, that is the grace that is on my life, has had the ability to see money, know when to move, and become wealthy, well, doggone it, it's good enough for me. And if I'm using the iCloud on my iPhone, then doggone it, I can use it. You are so sweet.
You're so cute.
Thank you, babe.
Hi, Rise and Profit. Hi.
We're on Facebook Live today, babe.
Hey, Facebook Live people.
Kelly's on here.
Hi,
Kelly. Some breakfast?
It's the oatmeal.
You're so sweet. Thank you. Trade the brain. Anyway. Okay. All right. Let me stop playing. Okay. Let me bring on my friends. Tamara, what's good, babe?
Hey, everybody. How y'all doing?
You're great.
Hey.
Hello.
Hey.
Welcome to the party, brother.
What's going on?
Man, it's exciting times around here, eh?
Absolutely. Trying to collect those bags.
Yeah, we get deep in our bag. Mishard, can you turn on your video so we can see you, brother?
Oh, man.
Yeah, so this is pretty amazing. I asked these amazing people to come on and join me today. Tamara, who is just our resident crypto expert in terms of helping people get their wallets set up. And she studies crypto a lot, as I do. I love talking to her. Thank you, Tamara. She was on the phone with me, working with some celebs last week, getting them all set up. She was so patient, as they really didn't know what the heck they were doing, but they all figured it out. And it was so interesting, Tam, because during one part of the setup, one of them said, you know what, forget it. I'm not going to do it. And what did you say to her, Tamara?
Oh my goodness. Yeah. She was literally struggling and losing all faith in the process. I said, no, 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 no. They are banking on the fact that you're going to quit and that you're not going to push through to figure this out. They're banking on the fact that you're not going to spend this time here to figure this out. And so we had to keep going. And you said, we fight. We fight.
We gotta fight. And I like, Michael said something. He goes, hey, I like the fact that everybody doesn't get it, and is not going to take the time to figure it out. That's fine, because that's better for me. So very good. Mike Griffin, I'm so excited to have you on here. This brother is a real estate investor doing his thing, started trading with us at one point, got busy, and tell them your story, Mike. It's quite interesting. And but it's good, because as you can see, you're still not too late to the party. But I just love to hear your story, and I hope this encourages other people that are on here.
Okay, listen. Jewel goes to my ministry, okay? And I came across her, and she said something about signing up for Bitcoin. Bitcoin. She just trying to sell me something. That's what I was thinking, right? I bought Bitcoin on my own, thinking I knew what I'm doing, not wanting to be teachable. I bought it on my own at 13.7. Jewel said, don't sell your Bitcoin. Whatever you do, don't sell your Bitcoin. Said, okay, no problem, Jewel. I'm not going to sell it. So when I got in at 13.7, the next day it was 13.6. The next day, 13.5, then 12,000, 11.10. Oh, my goodness. My initial investment was 10,000. How the coin gonna be equal to what I bought it for? Oh, so now I knew I had to wait for the time to pass, the value to go back up. I had to wait for the time to go back up to recoup my initial investment. So my wife calls me. She said, "Hey, Bitcoin's up to 12,000." And I said to myself, forgot what Jill had told me. I said to myself, as soon as I get up to 13.7, I'm pulling my money out. This is just too much for me. So this was November last year. It got to 12. It got to 12.5. My wife said, if I was you, I'd pull my money out. So you know what I did? I pulled my money out and lost $1,500 because it was $1,500 less than the 13.7 when I pulled it out. Do you know 2 weeks later it got to 13.7, then 14,015, and right now this morning it's at 48,000. I would triple my $10,000 investment. Probably more than that if I just do the math. If I had just been teachable and listened to Jewel. So now guess what? You better be teachable and get these dollars. Because I'm telling you, we are in the greatest wealth transfer. And this time,
man,
I'm not going to miss it. Now, you can miss it if you want to. But Mike Griffin and his family, we will not miss it.
Yeah. And I see my cousin is on here, Burnell. Hey, cuz I don't know if you're coming today. It's a lot of snow out there. Also, my girlfriend Kelly Copeland and I love her. Just appeared on her show talking about crypto, and it was great. Kelly and I are doing some pretty exciting things coming up that we'll be sharing with you guys. Kelly, if you want to jump on here, baby, text me and I'll send you the email. So this is really important. Hey, Auntie Jeannie. This is really, really important that we, come on here and listen. I just brought to the stage Randy Webb. Randy is actually the one on the team who actually told me about MicroStrategy. And now, after I read the word of God, I'm listening to Michael Saylor. And so, Randy, we had a great time on here today. The first few minutes, we just literally were taking Michael Saylor's different interview videos. I was stopping them and explaining, what does this mean? What does this mean? Richard, I don't know if your video can't be seen, sir, because we can't see you.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. One moment.
Okay. So I'm excited to have you guys on. Before I get to Randy, Tamara, because Mike, you're in ministry, and I don't hear people in church really talking about Bitcoin. And this is why I think this is so important. And when Randy called me and said, Jewel, all the S&P 500s are taking their capital and buying Bitcoin. We got to get this to the church. And I was like, Randy, you're right. And it was like, I already had an urgency in my heart for our community, I think at large. But when we saw so many businesses moving into, taking their capital and doing it, I said, first of all, let me do it as a church right now. And so we did that last week. And so Tam, real quickly, what are you kind of seeing? I mean, this is brand new, and it's like Michael Saylor said, he likes the fact that not a lot of people know or understand it or like it because it's just more money for him.
For sure.
To the people that are listening. By the way, guys, I need you to share this feed and do watch parties. We're going to be on here for about another 20 minutes. This information is vital.
Yeah, absolutely. Dr. Jewel, there's something that I've been just fiending to say, just in my heart, burning to say to the listeners of this right now. We often pray and we often ask the Lord, for help and change in our lives. And we often say, okay, Lord, I need more money, God. I need you to free me from this. We're praying. And then a lot of times when change does come and it shows up, we run away because we don't recognize it. You know what I'm saying? It's like something totally new that we never would have expected. And so what we are telling you right now is to position yourself to receive, position yourself to get into the flow of new knowledge, new understanding. Absolutely, we did not get this education during our, process of going to school, college, graduate school, whatever it may be. But here it is, the answer to your prayers. And when we come forth like this, because as you see, Michael Saylor, he's working to help the Fortune 500 companies. We're mandated now, and you can be mandated as well to help the church. We have ministries that have goals. They want to reach the communities, and it takes capital to do it.
Yeah,
and we're here to teach you how to leverage your money, how to learn something new and stick with it, and don't give up like they want you to. And let's just win.
And I think this is why this community is so vitally important, because you really need to be able to bounce these ideas off of each other. I appreciate Mike for saying, hey, you told me to get it at 13,000. I did. But then, I got scared and I got out, but he's back in now. We need to hear those kind of real stories, guys. And this is the thing that I really want to keep impressing. We're at the first inning. You need to get back with the person that invited you on here. Really, you need to get back with the person that invited you on here and say, okay, what do I need to do? Because if nothing else, you need to put yourself in a position to buy and hold. Tam, one real quick fact about crypto that you want everybody to know and why this was so important to you, because you literally just left corporate America full time for making a very good income, strong six-figure income, to fully devote yourself in this space, educating yourself, educating others, and then also trading crypto as well as accumulating it. What's one thing that you really want to make sure everybody knows? And then Randy, I'm coming to you, and then we'll come over to Rashard.
Yes, absolutely, Dr. Jewel. In the educational space that you mentioned earlier, we have learned that Bitcoin is not the only cryptocurrency there is out there. There's close to 7,000 currencies, okay? And we get to get educated on how they're moving, how they're flowing. So don't just get tied up and wrapped up into the media when they're talking about Bitcoin, Bitcoin, Bitcoin. That's the first one, absolutely. But there's several others, and they're moving and they're shaking. So some of them are even as low as a penny. Some of them are even as low as 10 cents per coin right now, And as we know, Dr. Jewel, and as I close out, with Bitcoin, you don't have to purchase an entire Bitcoin to start. As Michael mentioned, the price is close to $50,000 per coin right now, but just get $10 of it. Get $15 of it. $100, fractions of the coin, and watch that grow. It's more than what the bank will ever do for you.
Yeah, that is so good, girl. Randy, okay, so you told me about MicroStrategy. Randy, we're learning something in this space every day. I appreciate you, brother. He has gotten extremely good with trading. He is extremely passionate. I don't know if Randy really sleeps. I mean, I'm telling you, he's texted us. Him and Wanda, I love them. He's texting us on Valentine's Day, and I said, you know what? He's just so committed, because the reality is there's a very strong sense of urgency right now. We're not trying to do the whole FOMO, create fear, or anything like that, but there is a serious sense of urgency right now. Randy, what are you learning about Bitcoin, and why do people, I think, and particularly in ministry, need to be moving aggressively into this space?
And you're right. It is a sense of urgency because of what's happening. So really, and I'll tell you, just go research history, but we are at 110 years of our old currency system when the Federal Reserve was created. We're past that, right? And so you'll realize that through history of other countries, currencies had to reset. And unfortunately, because of all the manipulation, all the printing of money, right? That's the depreciation of the dollar. This is where Michael Saylor came and said, listen, you know, I know over the next 10 years, the dollar is going to be 99% depreciated, meaning if we just keep this in our, like as our reserve, okay, in your savings account, for you operating like a corporation, your savings account will be your reserve, okay? So whatever you're keeping in your savings account, you're like, I'm going to retire in 10 years. Unfortunately, here's the bad news. Most people are realizing, dang, I'm not going to retire in 10 years because housing costs more, medical bills are more, you know, food is more. So the money you saved up is not enough. So what Michael Saylor was able to do is he was able to see like, wow, this is the new gold of our time. Okay, even gold is depreciating right now because of what we do with the system. Why? Because you have all these options, all the ETF. Gold is scarce for real. But because of everything they put on top of it, almost like timeshares, you don't know who's sharing what time, okay? It's being debased. And so what you want, a debased currency or a currency that's going up in strength? Well, Bitcoin is that currency going up in strength. It's all facts. This is not a fairy tale anymore. It's not something that people thought was going to fail. And so what Michael Saylor that was bold, he said, listen, I see the numbers. And so he threw $425 million in December 2020 into Bitcoin. Took his company to $2.25 billion, his reserves, okay? Now imagine where that's gonna go in the next 10 years. And he decided to share the information with the rest of the S&Ps. Now here's where the sense of urgency regular people and our institutions understand that these institutions, before they can say, I'm gonna invest in Bitcoin, they gotta go through their boards, okay? They gotta file stuff with the SEC. They have all these filings they have to do, okay? So some of them may get it done during the first quarter, what does that mean? If you understand supply and demand, Bitcoin right now is about $800 billion in market cap. You divide the 18.6 million Bitcoins that are currently circulating, okay, you divide the 800 billion by 18.6 million, that gives you the current cost. Well, what happens when more currency floats in there from these S&P 500s? Because they're going to, and when they get in, you're not going to see the big dips. Everyone's scared of the big dips. Those dips won't happen because you don't have regular retailers who are really all in Bitcoin. Now the corporations are holding on to Bitcoin. So they have a hold strategy, not a strategy to get in and get out. Are you with me? So that means when Apple throws $5 billion in Bitcoin, that means when Amazon decides to throw their money in Bitcoin, they're holding it. Look, Michael said, I'm holding this for 100 years. Yeah. He doesn't plan on selling. Yeah. So that means Bitcoin's going to get to a level 200,000, 500,000, and everyone's looking for this dip. There ain't no dip, y'all.
It's not a dip because this is not a phenomenon, and there's only 21 million Bitcoin.
That's
so
right.
When depletion has happened, it's happened.
That's
and
right.
So you'll be able to get it because it's now in circulation. People are using it to buy houses, cars, coffee, home, depot supplies, whatever. Mm-hmm. But timing is entry and exit of the market, guys, is everything. I want you guys to get back with the people that you had that invited you on here, seriously, and make a move. Grant, Rashard, I'm coming to you. Randy, thank you. That was so much. I want to bring up my good girlfriend, sister, Kelly Copeland. I love this woman. Yes, this is Kenneth Copeland's daughter. Then she looked just like him. They're twins. But no, I really love her. Kelly reached out to me several years ago, and we just, we've been joined at the hip for a while, but she reached out to me, and we're doing some pretty powerful things together right now. We were just talking this morning, and I said, Kelly, jump on if you can. She had me on her show, as a matter of fact, about a month ago, and the response was bananas. I just went on one time, and I told Kelly, I said, your show is lit, girl, because they've been hitting me up. I mean, I still get hit up. And so thank you for having me on there. Thank you for your family and all that you guys mean to the body of Christ. We love you. Her dad gave us an airplane a couple months ago. We were, it was just a blessing. And so I just want to say that I love you. I love the whole Strickland family and what you guys mean. And so I'm just excited to have you on here, honey. What's on your heart? What are you thinking?
Well, I know who's the student here for sure. And there's just on my, I don't know anything but a fraction of what you've told me, Jewel, about Bitcoin. So, that's where I want to come at today, maybe just to offer some inspiration from the bottom. I called you because the Lord said, call Jewel. And that was at a time of where I was just crying out to the Lord for some things. And he just said, you don't need anybody but me to be wealthy. You don't need a second paycheck. You don't need anything but me to have other sources of income. And he really struck my heart. And I'm like, what do I do? He said, call Jewel. So I did. And I launched into some things from what you said, but I think I wasn't a student where crypto was concerned, because I sure could have bought it a long time ago and, been making a lot more money. And it makes me think of the needed vulnerability to be a student, because we're faced. I am learning this. I don't think vulnerability was part of my language before my, the things the Lord has broken down in me the last several years. But we're either going to be after vulnerability or perfection. And I think because I strive for perfection, I didn't know how to walk in vulnerability. And if you're vulnerable, it's not weak at all. It's just an ability to be open, an ability to be a student. Last night I've had such phenomenal growth in the last few years, and seeking out to learn things about real estate or crypto, or even seeking out to learn things about the brain or how we're wired. I have learned so much in the last few years. And I was like, Lord, how could I go so long and not be a student of life? I've been a student of the word and I'm strong there. But I think we're coming into an age where we have to be, wise about, and even, stealthy in this day. And knowing the word is the basis for everything. It keeps you grounded in truth as you seek to learn. But I've been improved by learning how my brain works, how inclinations work, how shame works. So when we're willing to be vulnerable and be a student, last night I was feeling regret that I haven't been a student for the last 50 years. I'm 57 and I've had a good 5-year run of being a true student. And I'm growing, and life has gotten even more exciting. So if we're going to go for perfection, then you go down a route of either shame or blame. You feel ashamed that you're not enough, or you feel blame that everybody else has kept you back. So our true choices are either go for vulnerability and be a student and learn these things and just do them imperfected as they are. I don't even know how to do all this, but I can tell you one thing. I have a wallet. I have a digital currency wallet. And if you don't have that, are you really expecting God to do something big? If that's just the basis of what you have is, okay, I have an empty wallet now, you're ready. You're ready for growth. So either being vulnerable or perfectionism, and the perfectionistic mindset will not be a wealthy mindset in the days to come, because everything's changing. And you're never going to get on top of it until you really following you, Jewel, I'm following, you're really a prophet of what is going on and how to become wealthy. And I believe I say this by the Lord, that you are a prophet of the end time inversion, that you're going to lead people into where to go and what to do. Because if things are being inverted, and we can see that 2020 was a big shakeup, and showed us where we were unstable. Well, I believe the Lord's going to do that with our finances. he's changing things. So we can't just go along thinking we already know what to do. So I'm in, girl, and I'm very grateful that I called Jewel.
Wow, Kelly, you just helped us in so many ways. I think with so many people that are listening, I appreciate you. I love you. You know how I feel about you. But I think I love what you said about the vulnerability. And I think sometimes in church, like, we have felt like if we don't know it, we haven't really been hungry to say, hey, I don't understand this. Hey, I need to become a student, And so you're absolutely right. And so I know that helps a lot of people listening today. Like, it's just, I'm vulnerable. Like, Randy told me about what I shared with you guys today, just last week, but I just got on top of it. I started listening. I started asking questions. And so that's what I want to encourage everybody to be. Just become a student. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to get it wrong. Don't be afraid to, say, oh, wait, this. I love what you said about the shame. That is so good, because sometimes, people can say, oh, it's too late. And Kelly, it's never too late. It's never too late. So that was so good. I almost wanted you to say something else, but I'll come back to you. I want Rashard to chime in really quickly. Rashard, what do you think about everything that's happening right now?
I really just think it's remarkable considering the timing of everything. Looking at Bitcoin at the prices that they are today, and then considering where it was maybe about 8 years ago, sometimes the feeling is like, man, I really missed out on an opportunity here. But then just through the education and then being in different circles of conversation, understanding just how still early we are in this whole adoption phase. Like, I still talk to people regularly that don't know much about crypto, if at all, don't have any wallets or anything like that. So that being said, I mean, I look at it like cell phones, where even my kids have cell phones now, but you look back maybe about 20 years ago and it really wasn't like that. So it's just a great opportunity that we have before us to really just position ourselves for a tremendous paradigm shift in how world currency is managed. And then just the things I'm learning, just with China working on a digital yuan, and just really the trend in which we're going. We're going digital as much as our banking keeps trying to go paperless. Everything wants to go paper. It's just a trend, and it's a change because technology is making things a lot much more easy. But then to Randy's point, as far as understanding the value of currency, and it's just simple economics. The more if you put something out there, the less valuable it is. And so, it's a blessing to be able to get a check free from the government. Thank you. But at the same time, the ramifications of it, it's likely going to be in the something like we've never seen before. And then I just end on this note, just researching and talking to different people. When we talked about the national deficit, and somebody said, like, if you paid $1 million a day on our national deficit over the next 100 years, you would still not be able to pay off our deficit. So that is leading towards the likes of something that I feel like we've seen in the world before, where there's been other currencies that have collapsed, unfortunately. And I'm not trying to say anything fearful or anything like that. It's just a matter of understanding of what's happening in the world, how goods and services are exchanged, and where store of value is. And so when you have a finite amount of a particular asset and you have an opportunity to accumulate some, when another asset, when it's compared to it, begins to devaluate, it can potentially skyrocket. So in essence, Bitcoin is still so small and in beginning stages of where this can go. And based on charts and where we've been looking at things, it has all the potential to do something that does not make sense, which is be like a $1 million coin just for one coin. So that just puts in perspective where we are with this, and we have a great opportunity to lock arms and learn together.
No, you're so right. It's so crazy because I was thinking about this. I'm going to send you this video. I'll send you this morning. I was listening to Gloria Copeland, your mom, and Pastor George Parsons, and it was a teaching that they did on developing strong faith. And there was one portion in there that caught my attention. Mama Gloria goes, she said, I was reading a book on the devaluation of the dollar. And I think this taping might have been done a couple years ago, but I'm going to find it and send it to you. But I thought that was just really interesting that this has been in the works a long time. And so it's kind of like Michael Saylor said, what Facebook did, he basically pulled together a social platform and made it global, and it changed everything. And this is what Bitcoin is doing. It's pulling together monetary on a global level, and it's changing everything about the way that we do business and the way that we interact. So I really want to encourage you guys to get back with the person that invited you on here. And I'm going to be going live every morning this week at this time. I was talking to China last night, and she said, I have seasons where I feel impressed in my heart to go live. I do a lot of leadership Zooms with just my team, but then there are times where I'm like, nope, you need to go live. And this is definitely one of those times where I'm like, we got to go live because I feel a responsibility, and I think everybody on this platform feels a responsibility to educate people, because I do absolutely believe that we're at the first inning of the largest wealth transfer that the world has ever seen. Dr. Bill Winston, Dr. Leroy Thompson, Brother Copeland, a lot of people have been teaching it. And I really feel like this is the economic articulation of what our faith has been built for such a time as this. And so we'll be going live at this time every day, bringing you guys good new tea with some different guests that I think are going to be amazing, or maybe the same guests. We'll see what the Lord says. Okay, so I just want to hear from everybody really quickly. Last words. By the way, Bitcoin is getting ready. It's been planned at 50,000. It's getting ready to break. When it breaks, we're going to see 100,000, possibly even, I don't know, a high this year. I mean, I think the high, we could possibly see 1.5 million. I don't think we'll see the 1.5 billion this year, but I think a high for this year, Randy, would you say maybe 300 to 600,000?
I will say they're projecting, especially these S&P companies, we can see 500,000. And I guess what I would say is focus on, there's some things called Satoshis inside of a Bitcoin. And I want to change your philosophy because people think that it's too late. We're just getting started. This is where it's stable, okay? We're gonna have a stable upward movement. So there's 1 million Satoshis in a Bitcoin. Okay, there's gonna be a point where a Satoshi is $1. And so a Satoshi right now is about barely it's 4 cents to 5 cents right now. And so I know some people are like, does $10 matter per week? Yeah, $10, $5 matter. So you just put that money in there because we know the value is going up. So no matter who you are listening right now, just fight to save something, right? Storage. And over the time, you're gonna see the growth.
Yeah, that's really good. I love it. $10 a week, $20 a week. One of our children started doing $20 a week, Tam, about a year and a half ago. Their account just broke $20,000. Just $20 a week. I started saving Bitcoin at 3,500. And I mean, I'm right there. Yeah, about to break. Hey, let's go. So, Michael, last words.
One thing I want to piggyback on what Randy said, if you're of the mindset, well, why would I put money in Bitcoin if it's worth almost 50,000 right now? Well, if Randy is correct and it equals about 500,000, that means the amount of money you save will multiply 11 times by the end of the year. That's the key point. You can't make that type of money in interest in your savings account. You gotta stay relevant. Please chime in, get educated, try it. I beseech you to try it. You will be overwhelmed.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you so much, man. That's such a great breakdown. So $50,000 in a bank account or $50,000 in Bitcoin? I would say Bitcoin all day, right? Your growth is going to be much stronger than the 0.00005% that the credit union is giving you or any other bank, right? Tamara.
Yes, Dr. Jewel, this has been amazing. Thank you for having us on today. I just want to leave a word of encouragement to those out there, because it's like, think about how often you've said to yourself, if I could just find someone somewhere to show me what to do with my money, how do I make my money grow? I just can't seem to find any help. I don't know where to go. And then you hear individuals like Mike Saylor saying, hey, we don't want anybody to know. And then you're wondering why it's been such a struggle. Well, here's your answer right here. You know, we are not taking that position of saying we don't want anybody to know about this because we want it all to ourselves. No, we're not doing that. Our hearts are toward giving this information out because we know that there is plenty of money around this world moving around every day, all day to go around. This is the God we serve. So, you know, I just want to leave that with you and encourage you on that. Okay. Just go ahead and become a student.
Yeah, that's really good. And our financial educational platform, guys, is amazing. We hold your hand. And Weena, you can go back and watch the replay or get back with the person that invited you on here. Or maybe I invited you, but the time is now. So Kelly, what are your last thoughts, babe? Oh, wait, I got to unmute you. Hold on, honey. Okay, there you go.
Hey, I just want us to remember who our source is and to identify any scarcity thinking that we might have. Identifies where you're sourcing. So if you have money in savings and you're thinking, oh, I don't know if I have enough money in savings to do this, or is this what I need to do with my money? Let's just, say Psalm 23 like this. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not have scarcity. And when we think like that, we're more willing to sow seeds. And we're all tithers here, hopefully so. Don't buy Bitcoin till you tithe, and that will put you up in a good place. But the windows of heaven and the protection that tithing provides is over a field. And sowing seeds is not only giving money. I mean, you can think of that as sowing seeds to get a harvest, sowing purchases. You're sowing money into a field or a business or a your wealth. You're sowing seeds by buying something so that it can grow. And certainly in this case, these are seeds. They're big whopping seeds, but even the $5 increments of Bitcoin, people can buy Bitcoin on Cash App. And we can sow these seeds, and that field, we can believe for that field to be protected. So I just, let go and be that person who doesn't hold on, but scatters out on that field and let the wealth transfer happen.
Ooh, girl, that's good. Absolutely. And everyone knows me. I tithe, I give offering, and then I pay myself in Bitcoin, and then I take care of the rest of the stuff with that. But
as ministries, we're going to have a wallet, right? If we want to tithe this money, we're going to have a ministry wallet for this.
Yes, absolutely. Also, real last tip, everybody needs to get a Nano Ledger, and I'll be putting that information out on my stuff. If you guys want to grab it, you can get on nanoledger.com. But you need to get a Nano Ledger, which is cold storage to hold all of your cryptocurrency long term. So guys, listen, this has been great. We're going to be back on here tomorrow at the exact same time. Also Wednesday, don't forget Queens of Cryptocurrency, myself, and Bethany Wanda Webb, and my sister Janetta Barnes on Clubhouse at 12 noon Central. I want to thank all of you for jumping on here. This is a little last minute. I think Tam, I reached out to you last night, but everybody else is kind of last minute. So I just want to say thank you so much for your heart. Thank you for your transparency. Thank you for just bringing all the knowledge together, because even what Michael said, it was just a reminder. So it doesn't matter if you're newer in it, what Kelly said about the vulnerability, Randy, who's more advanced, even what he said, all of it, Tam, all of you, like all of us make together a pretty powerful force. And you're going to need to be in a wealth community. You need to be in a wealth family. You don't want to just go this on your own. Trust and believe me, things are always changing. A month ago, we could buy XRP Ripple on Coinbase. Today, we can't. because things are forever changing. And so you want to make sure that you're in a community so that you can continue to learn and change. So guys, I love you so much. Get back with the person that invited you on here. You guys have a great day, and let's get deeper in our bag. Love you guys. Bye.